This is Candor Talk. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get right into the show. But before we get into the show, don't forget to check out our website, sylviaexpress.com. Hello, fabulous people. How are you doing today? Well, I'm sure you probably had a pretty good week, except for the atomic bomb that came out by Donna Brazile, which I kind of feel like I need to talk about first, because I think people would say, oh, you're being disingenuous. But if you don't talk about it at all, even though my perspective on it's probably going to be entirely different than what people would have anticipated from me. But nevertheless, Trump had a horrific week as well, so I'm going to be talking about that in a minute. But let me just really quickly get into what's going on with the DNC, because that's important to me. Now, let me just say this. I supported Bernie Sanders in the primary. I did. I was a burner. Feel the burn. The whole entire thing. I loved Bernie. And I still like Bernie a lot. I really respect him a lot. I think he has true convictions. I think he really believes in his philosophies and his theories about how the world should operate and how the country should operate. Nevertheless, I was also somebody who thought that the DNC had stacked the deck against Bernie Sanders. I definitely did think that. However, when it came time to going to vote, and I went into that booth, there was no question to me about who I was going to vote for, and I obviously was voting for Hillary Clinton. I came home. I'm a Democrat. I voted Democrat my entire life. Now, let me just talk about Donna Brazile real quickly. What she's basically saying right now is that Bernie Sanders was basically disadvantaged by the DNC because the DNC had allegedly gotten to an agreement with Hillary Clinton's campaign to essentially allow the Clinton campaign to control the DNC. I've had an opportunity to actually review what they claim is the actual agreement or the memo, and there was definitely an agreement in there that said that the Clinton campaign, in return for basically bailing the DNC out of debt, because the DNC was in so much debt, that the Clinton campaign would have some control over certain things that would transpire. In addition to that, in terms of picking the communication director, press releases going out, even on any other primary candidate. Okay, let me just tell you what I think about this whole situation right now. First of all, I think that Donald Trump is such a threat to this country, that he's such an imposter, fraud, madman, that honestly right now, we need balanced government. We need checks and balances. We need somebody that can contain this madman. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to be able to get other Democrats in governmental positions. We have crucial and critical elections coming up on Tuesday. And here comes Donna Brazile and decides to drop this bombshell into the public, and basically alleges that she was trying to do it because she wanted to revamp the party. However, I read the article that she wrote in Politico, and all it sounds like is just salacious details that were basically an attempt to do damage to the Democratic Party. I don't really understand why she did this now. I think her timing is horrific. However, I think the DNC does need some reformation, and I think that they do need to change, but her timing couldn't be any worse. And I don't think that it's commendable what she did, because I as somebody who also thought that the DNC had stacked the deck, I had gotten over that and I'd moved on. And what we're trying to do is unify around the resistance in order to make sure that we can get rid of this imposter. And to go do this right now, where you gave Donald Trump ammunition and Donald Trump's allies ammunition so they can conflate the issues and make it seem like the Democrats have another scandal that we need to be worried about, or make people afraid to vote for Democrats, which has actually happened, where people now are saying, I just can't vote for Democrats. I can't give money to Democrats anymore. I just feel like it's so damaging and it's so counterproductive. I'm just not sure why she did it. Besides, my opinion is that she wanted to sell books. But it's not helpful at all what she did. And so I'm not going to spend much more time on talking about her, because I feel like we have bigger fish to fry. And as a matter of fact, there was nothing really commendable about it, because she should have done it a long time ago, and I would have respected it. I would have bought the book. I would have, encouraged. I still encourage reform from the DNC. But right now, we need to be focusing on how to get rid of this imposter in the White House. And the only way you do that is you get people into positions that can help slow the bleeding. If those Virginia elections go south of the border, then there's going to be this belief and perception that Donald Trump has this big control over the country, and that he's still very, very much popular because people are voting in an interest of preserving or promoting or continue to push a Republican agenda. You're going to see much more madness from this man if that even happens. So I actually feel like what Donna Brazile did was so detrimental. I'm not going to buy the book. I don't really care about the salacious details. I think we do need to fix the DNC and fix the Democratic Party, but there's a time to do that, and I don't think the time was now. Anyway, so with that being said, that's pretty much all I'm going to say on the Donna Brazile situation. I think that everyone should get out there and vote on Tuesday. If you're in one of those states where there's going to be an election, it is critical that you do that. We need to stop the bleeding. We cannot have this totalitarian society where only one party rules. That's not a democracy. That's a totalitarian society. That's authoritarianism. That's dictatorship. That is not democracy. So we need to get out there because Democrats have been hemorrhaging, seats for, the last few elections. So it's time that we get out there and do something about that. Anyway, nevertheless, on to the imposter in the White House. Horrific week because it has been just bombshells dropping everywhere. But I had said in one of my shows that I thought that the next person that was going to be indicted was going to be Michael Flynn. So I'm going to play this clip where there's somebody else that actually kind of agrees with what I'm saying. And I'm going to talk about it after this. Okay, here it is.
Got more Papadopouloses, if I said that properly.
Absolutely, he is. And even if you call Papadopoulos a small fry, sometimes the small fries can fry the higher-ups, depending on what they know. And right now, there are going to be a lot of nervous people in Washington.
What are you watching, Kendall, in terms of the next step for Mueller?
I keep watching Michael Flynn because of all the people that seem to be clearly, frankly, bluntly indictable. He's center stage, and he's also strategically placed.
Yeah.
A lot about Russia. And then finally, the question of what was Trump's motive in trying to allegedly tell Comey, please go easy on that guy. Was Trump trying to protect a good guy and a public servant, or was Trump trying to protect something about himself?
Yeah.
And that's a question that Michael Flynn should be able to answer.
Oh, you brought up the big one there, Kendall. Alana, that is the $64 billion question. Mike Flynn, is he flipped?
It's really tough to tell, but I will say from the congressional perspective, Mike Flynn is in trouble as well.
Also in trouble. So, Krishna, that is you folks in the legal space are thinking about that. Mike Flynn really is at the core of potentially, since he's indictable, as Alana was saying, at least from the Hill and what they're looking at, as well as from certainly Mueller's seat. Has he been turned, Krishna? And if he is, this really is saying a lot more than Papadopoulos and his unsealing of his indictment.
I would agree with that. I don't think anyone knows. Certainly one wants to speculate. We haven't heard anything about Mike Flynn. And as was mentioned, he seems easily a target, as easy as Manafort was on certain things, particularly things like FARA, right? The failure to register. And, what Mueller has made clear is you lie to us, you don't, follow certain rules, we're going to come after you now.
Okay, so I have been saying for a while that I thought Michael Flynn was going to be the next person that was going to be indicted. It seems like other people are agreeing with that too. Other lawyers are coming on and saying he is the most easily indictable person right now. And the reason why is because, like I said, there's so many different low-hanging fruits, right? Papadopoulos was low-hanging fruit because he was basically had lied and he got caught, and that was a federal crime. And so therefore, he was easy to indict, and then you could easily get him to flip. And he was protected. Mueller did not let the general public have any idea that he was actually indicted until after he was probably gotten enough information that Mueller already had. Then now, you have Paul Manafort, who was also easily indictable because he was just like, look at all the stuff that he was doing, so many different crimes that they got him on, and Gates. And then there's Flynn, who's also easily indictable. The thing that the common denominator here is Donald Trump. They were all affiliated with the Donald Trump campaign. But anyway, nevertheless, Michael Flynn is easily indictable because of all the crimes that you already know that he committed. But the evidence has already been put out there, like she said, failure to disclose, and to sign the form. And he failed to tell the United States government that he was getting money from foreign governments. Not to mention, he was in the campaign all the way until even afterwards, where he was appointed national security advisor. So this is a guy who had been there the entire time, pretty much, was in the convention screaming, lock her up. And this is a guy who essentially has, likely has all these Russian connections and is likely going to be indictable. And the belief now is that he already flipped. I believe he already flipped. I personally believe he's already been indicted. I believe he's already been indicted. People are saying he's indictable because we don't know yet necessarily that whether or not he's been indicted. But when you have 4 other open indictments, and I don't know if you listened to my previous show, but there are at least 4 other sealed indictments that we don't know about. So we have 4 other indictments that are still like currently open, basically. But I mean, they're not open in terms of publicly, but they're still 4 indictments that are there. Then you have to assume that Mueller is going after all the individuals that he thinks he can obviously indict, and the people that we know could possibly be indicted is Michael Flynn. Now, why this is horrific, obviously, is because this is a guy you cannot say you didn't know if you're Donald Trump. This is a guy who probably has so many juicy details to tell the prosecutors. And you better believe he's got a great story to tell, like his lawyer said. So if Michael Flynn starts to flip, then obviously that's probably the end of Donald Trump. I already said for a long time, I'm going to maintain that particular position, is that Michael Flynn, Manafort, all these people that are going down aren't just going to go down alone. They're just not. They are going to flip. They're going to start singing on Donald Trump. And the thing is, Donald Trump keeps on trying to convince you that he's done nothing wrong, that he actually is completely immune from all this stuff. He had no idea. He was so exempt. It is getting harder and harder and harder to believe that when so many people affiliated with him, including Jeff Sessions, who's going down in burning flames right now for lying, obviously, to the Senate committee. So it's very difficult at this point now to say that you had nothing to do with Russia and that you had there was no interference in terms of your campaign helping to facilitate that. You can no longer say that. So that is just horrific. And the thing is, this Michael Flynn situation, once that happens, I think that's going to be the end of Donald Trump's personal mental state. And the reason why I say that is because something interesting happened this week. Donald Trump, basically an article came out in Newsweek that said that Donald Trump is not likely going to be running for re-election, says some of these insiders. Okay. I'm going to read you an excerpt from the article, okay? So basically, Rand Paul, Chris Christie are both saying they're not sure Donald Trump's going to run, but let me just read to you, okay? So here it says, Paul's and Christie's comments came after Special Counsel Robert Mueller filed his first indictments in his investigation into Russian attempts to interfere in the 2016 election. Excuse me. Former Trump campaign Chairman Paul Manafort and Rick Gates, his longtime business partner, have been named in a multiple count indictment citing money laundering and other illegalities. The indictment was unsealed Monday morning, and the charges don't look good for the president, who campaigned on draining the swamp. Ohio Governor John Kasich is already running a primary campaign against Trump, according to a news report. And then Vice President Mike Pence and Senators Tom Cotton and Ben Sasse are also running shadow primary campaigns. And then they said that Trump's opting not to run for a second term would be an unorthodox move, much like the rest of Trump's unprecedented presidency. Okay, so basically Trump is scared. Trump is scared because Trump knows that if he runs for re-election, first of all, you won't make it all the way to re-election. I've been saying it for a long time. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that this guy is not going to make it his entire 4 years. He will be impeached. He will resign, or they'll invoke the 25th Amendment. I've said that so many times. But now you're hearing that he might not run for re-election, which is interesting that he would say that now. Because, okay, you're not going to run for re-election now because you're toast? Is that why? Because you know you're in so much trouble? We know you're in so much trouble. But nevertheless, you running like this and not wanting to run again is quite interesting. So Donald Trump is basically not trying to seek, and they're putting it out now. And then the fact that Ben Sasse and Mike Pence are running shadow primary campaigns? I mean, I don't even know if this could get any worse. So you have people within your own party who are already planning on overthrowing you. You have your own VP who's putting together money and everything else to run his own primary campaign. He's going to primary you? I mean, so they must know, first of all, the reason why they're probably doing this is because, one, Mike Pence must have a feeling that he's probably going to he might be president soon, which is just a horrific idea. It's something that's just intolerable. But nevertheless, he's probably thinking that he's going to be, president sometime soon. So he's going to have to run for some kind of re-election. And the only way to do that is to start raising money. But the only reason why you would do that is because you don't think that the actual fake president that we have in the White House is actually going to last. So that is actually quite interesting to me. That is another really, really bad situation for him, because if all these people are running these primary campaigns, they're not taking you seriously anymore. That's just a fact. Okay, so there's something else that also happened that I just think is, oh my God. The Jared Kushner situation, I talked about that in my previous show, but I want to play this clip from this guy named Sam Nunberg, the guy that was actually talking in the, that actually was quoted, in the Vanity Fair article. Let me just play this clip. He was on Aaron Melbourne. And what he's saying about Jared Kushner is pretty interesting. But let me just play it.
Started looking into Jared's financial dealings and his real estate dealings. Jared is a major problem. You know, the real problem is, and I know Ivanka, and I love Ivanka, and I think she's great. You know, you think about it, 2009, she marries Jared Kushner, 2009, 2010. He owns The Observer. He has that big deal on 666 Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, he's got...
And
it's
all turned to crap.
Okay, so basically what he's saying is that Jared Kushner is a failure, okay? But nevertheless, what was also reported too, I just need to add that in there before I talk about what Sam Nunberg said, what was also reported is that Jared Kushner started to cooperate with Robert Mueller. Why is Jared Kushner trying to cooperate and turn over documents to Robert Mueller? Which, I mean, I understand the cooperation. You better cooperate because you can already tell that Mueller is not playing around. He's not joking around. When he went and ran and got those indictments, and then he had them sealed and nobody knew, and he just outgunned everybody, outmaneuvered every single person, clearly Mueller is not joking around. So that's probably why Jared Kushner is probably realizing now, especially now that Donald Trump is trying to throw him under the bus and saying, I blame him for all these particular things. It's pretty clear at this particular point that Jared Kushner now has realized that if he doesn't try to save his own ass, then Donald Trump's going to throw him under the bus too. And the thing is, like I said in that previous show, you know, the fact that they're coming after Jared Kushner right now, there's a reason, because probably, you know, they know something's going to drop about Jared Kushner or something they already know there's exposure right now with Jared Kushner, but it's so suicidal to do that because Jared Kushner could literally destroy Donald Trump, could literally destroy him. So it doesn't make any logical sense to continue to do that and to go after Jared Kushner. But what we found out was that Jared Kushner's actually turned over documents, and I just wonder what documents he turned over. It's got to be so completely interesting. But anyway, guys, I'm going to try to do a much shorter show today because I want to get involved and engage and trying to get people to go out there and vote on Tuesday. And I need to make sure that people are voting everywhere. So I don't want to talk too much about everything that's going on. There's so much that's going on. I did some shows earlier this week, so I'm going to try to end this pretty quickly today. So, but anyway, let me just give you a quick summary of the things that are going on with Donald Trump right now. Well, first of all, Michael Flynn, just watch out for that next week. Michael Flynn is probably going to get indicted sometime soon. And even if it's not next week, Michael Flynn is going to get indicted. I can say that affirmatively. I'm comfortable saying he's going to get indicted. Unless he's, like, I don't know, spectacularly, convincingly great as a witness that they don't even feel like they should indict him or they can't find a crime he committed, but we all know he did. So I'm affirmatively, I'm assured that he's going to be indicted. I'm comfortable saying that. Jared Kushner, watch out for Jared Kushner, because now that Jared Kushner and Donald Trump are not on good terms, and then Sam Nunberg, for some reason, they're bringing him out now to say things about Jared Kushner, to basically say Jared Kushner is a disaster, he's not really successful, he's actually a joke, and to say these things right now with his affiliation, he even saying that he likes Ivanka Trump, but Jared Kushner, everything he's done is basically turn to shit, and that he's basically a major problem. I've said that a long time ago, that Jared Kushner was a huge problem for Donald Trump, and I did a show on that, probably 6 to 8 months ago. Basically, he's the one that's going to sink it, because Jared Kushner is way too close for comfort. You're going to have a very difficult time if you're Donald Trump saying that you had no idea if Jared Kushner had any idea. So watch out for the Jared Kushner situation. Also, the fact that the VP and all these Republicans are starting to run these shadow campaigns behind, trying to primary Donald Trump, that is indicative of the fact that they don't think he's going to last the entire time. And then on top of it, he's scared. He's also putting out the word now that he's not going to run for re-election, because we all know he doesn't even think he's going to make it the entire time. He's going out right now and he's pretending like, excuse me, I have this cold. He's going out right now and he's pretending like he's okay and it's not a big deal and nothing happened, so there's no collusion. But the reality is, behind closed doors, they're saying he is so scared, he's angry, and he's lashing out at different people, that he's so completely unnerved and he's been unhinged for a while now. So don't focus on what Donna Brazile just did and try to conflate the issues and make it and feel like, Democrats are and what's happening with Democrats and what's happening with Donald Trump are equivalent. They're just not equivalent. The Democrats do need to clean up the party, and they need to get it together. They need to get a good message, and they need to get out there, and they need to stick to it, and they need to, be consistent on that. That's definitely important, and we need to clean up the party. I agree. But the one group that should be concerned right now are not Democrats. It is Donald Trump and all his minions. They should be concerned. Don't let anybody try to flip the issue. The issue is really about the person who was actually at the helm. who is decomposing right now, right in front of us, literally decomposing right in front of us. Everything is crashing around him. And now this whole tax situation, the tax plan and implementing that is probably not going to be that successful, not likely to be in the form that he promised or the form that he actually wants in order to get it passed. So things are just decomposing all around him. So I would just tell you guys right now, things are good for us.
Be happy,
those of us
guys.
who do not, I'm telling you, next week is going to probably be some more bombshells. So I can't wait to probably for next week and to see what goes on. But anyway, let's get out there and vote. If you are in any of those states, I think it's New Jersey, PA, Utah, VA, you got to get out there and vote. You got to vote. Find out if there's a governor's race in your state. Get out there and vote. Vote Democrat. Vote Democrat. We need balanced government. We cannot have a one-party rule. That is not a democracy. Like I said before, it's not a democracy when only one party is ruling. And right now, Republicans are ruling way too much. They have way too much power, and they're uncontrollable with that power. So they're doing crazy things right now. We need to take the country back. So vote, vote, vote. Also, go to SylviaExpress.com this week. I'm going to be posting more Trump regrets. I'm telling you guys, this guy is a ghost. He's a ghost. He's a done. He's done. Anyway, I'm going to be posting some more of those this week. So definitely go to SylviaExpress.com. And we're going to be posting articles and videos and stuff like that as well. So thank you guys so much. Have a great week. And don't forget to vote. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.